Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes, the most successful driver-team pairing of all time. Cue that one Jeremy Clarkson quote.
Yeah.
You have moved from McLaren to Mercedes. Is that not a bit like moving from Manchester United to West Ham?
Along with that came 6 Drivers' World Championships for Lewis, as well as 8 consecutive Constructors' Championships from 2014 all the way to 2021, with the help of teammates Nico and Valtteri, of course. With 246 races to choose from, as well as 84 wins, what is Lewis's best race for Mercedes? Germany 2014 is admittedly more a drive that I think is extremely underrated. This was the first year of dominance for Mercedes right at the beginning of the hybrid era, and arguably the year they had the biggest advantage over anybody else. But that certainly doesn't put a damper on Lewis going from 20th all the way up to 3rd, despite multiple moments of contact throughout the race. One of the Grand Prix that truly demonstrates how much fight Lewis has within, despite being isolated at the back of the grid through a brake failure going into the Sachs curve the day before. Contact with Kimi Raikkonen's Ferrari and then Jenson Button's McLaren caused him to lose his front wing. He would still fight up to 3rd, 17 places from where he started. The only way this result could have been bettered is if he was able to pass Valtteri Bottas in the closing laps. He was still in the Williams at this point, mind you. Turkey 2020 is a fitting one to be in his absolute best drives, as it was the race he won his 7th World Championship to match Michael Schumacher. This would be another fightback drive, but in a car that comparatively to how it was in the rest of the season was struggling in the soaking conditions, only mustering 6th place in qualifying, with his teammate in 9th. He would immediately jump to 3rd at the start, but would get passed by Vettel, Verstappen and Albon when he ran wide at the chicane. That mistake would pale in comparison to how much his rival struggled later on in the race, with both Red Bulls having costly spins around the pit stop window and the pace of the racing points starting to falter as the race went on, succumbing to the eventual pace of the Mercedes as the cars reached the lighter fuel loads. Lewis would cross the line 31 seconds ahead of anyone else, despite visibly struggling the day before. The last race I will mention is what most will probably point to when looking at Lewis's best race for Mercedes, remembering this was a weekend with a sprint qualifying, Sao Paulo 2021. He had in total 95 laps to recover from being disqualified from the timed qualifying session on Friday, the disqualification coming from the fact his DRS slot was too large. Starting 20th at the start of the sprint, he would carve the field open over 24 laps, finishing in 5th. An internal combustion engine replacement would relegate him down to 10th again for the Grand Prix. But even with his teammate Bottas failing to halt Max at the start and slow him down, he battled past both RB16Bs by the time he got to lap 59 and finished 10 seconds clear.